All right, so today I wanted to make a comparison video between the Block Clock Mini and the Block Clock Micro, Coinkite's second and third generation of their block clock. These two devices are primarily used to display different Bitcoin metrics, right? Updated Bitcoin metrics that kind of cycle through and then keep up to date throughout the day, right? Um, but honestly, the way I see it, these two clocks are really just, they're both functional pieces of Bitcoin art, right? That any Bitcoiner can probably display in their office or in their living room. And they're the type of thing that can easily catch people's eye and they have the power to spark conversations about Bitcoin, right? So the value in these pieces isn't just in the fact that they keep you up to date on these Bitcoin metrics, or they kind of are inceptioning your family every time they pass by. But I think the value is that they inspire these conversations about Bitcoin in the first place, right? With with people visiting your home who see it and are curious because it's such a eye-catching and beautiful piece. They're going to wonder, what is that? What are those numbers? And then that gets the ball rolling. Okay, but anyways, let's get started with the comparison. So we'll start with the Block Clock Mini. Um, for the Block Clock Mini, it's going to be the larger of the two. It's going to be about 12 and a half inches long, 4.5 inches tall, and a little bit over an inch wide. It's got 7 e-ink display panels on the front. And then also on the front, it's going to have some labels here. So Coinkite, Block Clock Mini, and then in this bottom right corner, it's got a little quote from Satoshi. If you don't believe it or don't get it, I don't have the time to try to convince you. Sorry. I think this was a quote that Satoshi said in one of his forums when somebody was wasting his time. All right, but then on the back, what we've got is, if you look at the left side, we've got 4 navigation buttons. So, whenever you're setting up your block clock, you're going to be using these 4 buttons over here. And then you've got 2 possible micro USB power inputs. So you're going to use one or the other depending on how you want to display your block clock mini. The one over here is the one you would probably use if you wanted to mount your mini on a wall. And then this is one that you would use if you just want to have your block clock mini standing up on your desk or on a shelf. And then over here on the right, we've got a micro SD card reader on the top. This is, you can use this to update your firmware if you ever need to do that. And then below it, we've got a standard USB slot. Now this slot is kind of interesting. You can use this slot to check the status and the balance of any open dimes that you have. So that's kind of a cool feature, and one that I actually didn't know about until I started doing a little bit more research into the Block Clock Mini. But yeah, that's it for the actual clock. And then with the Block Clock Mini, you're going to get a pretty long micro USB to USB-A power cord, and then a power adapter, to plug it in. All right, moving over to the Block Clock Micro. This is going to be the newer generation and the smaller of the two. So the Micro is going to come in at just over 4 inches long, a little bit under 3 inches tall. And if you include this, this kickstand bar in the back, it's coming in at just under 2 inches wide. On the front, you've got, your main e-ink display panel. So you're just going to have one panel to display all your metrics. And then, you have your labels as well, right? Block Clock Micro, And then just like the Mini, you've got a little quote there from Satoshi. And then on the back, you've got 3 navigation buttons, so 2 on the left and 1 on the right. And then you've got 1 USB-C power input. And that's it for the micro. No additional slots for a micro SD or for your open dimes. If you want to do any firmware updates with the micro, you would just do that over Wi-Fi instead of with a micro SD card. The micro also comes with its own USB-C to USB-A power cord for powering it up. So both the Mini and the Micro are able to display the same metrics. And in that sense, they both have a lot of the same functionality. Their builds in terms of material and quality are also similar. Both feel very solid and are well built, right? Well built products, which is what we've come to expect from Coinkite. And the key differences between the two, so are obviously going to be the size for one, right? Mini is much larger than the Micro. The ability to mount the Mini to your wall, and then the extra functionality that the Mini has because of the Micro SD and the USB slots. With that said, both are awesome products, and if you're thinking of getting a block clock, I think you'll be happy with either choice, honestly. So head over to Coinkite's store where you can get yourself a block clock or any of Coinkite's other great products. I'll put the link to the store in the description section down below. Thanks for watching.